Ah, it's good to be back. The headless masquerade that is DecapAttack. I missed old Chuck. Now we're here in Armington, which I originally didn't think was a pun name at all, but my best guess that they were going for Arlington National Cemetery. I guess maybe because the game is intended for an American audience, they figured we'd get the reference. Or I could just be dead wrong, I don't really know. So we just gotta get around these turtles, refill our hearts, which we desperately needed, until we found this pole here. Since I figured out how to use them, I can just do that now. There's a duck here who's intent on preventing that from being easy. But we are invincible while swinging on the pole, so no big deal. That was a pretty good combo. Didn't even mean it. Oh, I don't know how I dodged that, but I did. Ah, crazy fish. Oh, I hate this guy so much. Ah, that's fine. I lost my skull to get a new one. So, we are out of the water for the moment, but we will be back there shortly. I lost the skull again. This is tragic. Ooh, crazy fish. Okay, maybe we won't be going back in the water. Because if we get a running start here, we can leap over this wall. There's a hint that you can do it because there's a grass texture on top of it. By doing that, we can skip that section there, which has nothing of value in it. Just crazy fish all over the place. Get a few hits in there. It's very hard to get 2 hits on an enemy before they close the distance and hit you first. Red potion, we all know what that does. Don't have to see it again. Good music here. Alright, I'm just gonna jump around him. Broke that crazy fish sprite. This is probably an emulation error now that I'm realizing it. Although I, once again, never played the Genesis version, so I could be mistaken. There was also a comic book adaptation of the DecapAttack franchise. Seems a weird choice, but it ran either inside or alongside the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic. I'm not sure if it was a added feature in certain comics or if it was its own little book for a short while. It was very short-lived, though. So I'm told. These jellyfish are tenacious. And it's pretty much a whole different skill set dealing with underwater combat here. It's a matter of getting your punch height directly to where it's going to hit the enemy. Not always the easiest. Sometimes you have to mash the button a couple times to get it right where you need it to. And on very, very rare occasions, you will be unable to do so fast enough to land the blow before getting hit. As you get good at it, though, it becomes extremely satisfying to, get him right at the proper moment. Good stuff. The satisfying result of mastering this is what makes it worthwhile as compared to a lot of other underwater sections in Genesis-era games, many of which were incredibly tedious. Also the fact that Chuck is undead and therefore cannot drown. That also was a terrifying and often unfun addition to underwater sections back in the day. So we're briefly out of the underwater area. Carefully time that. Should be able to sneak around this one. And onto the Darkened Cloud. Reminds me a little bit of the indie game Eversion. Ah, dealt with that crazy frog quite handily. There's a veritable treasure trove down here. Pirate booty, half of which is empty. Worth it for the coin, though. So on to the final level of Armington. Got this little standable pole here. And once we break down this spot above me, we'll be able to use this as a shortcut should we die. Hopefully not, though. Alright, Crazy Frog. Crazy Fish. Crazy Frog is something else. But I have no business talking about right now. Take out this otter. Sneak around and open up that shortcut. Oh, I really am getting sick of the ghosts and the totems. That was just unfortunate. Oh, we got the skull back. And you may have noticed that there is this, which we desperately need. These are going to become pretty frequent, the flagpoles. And that's a very good thing. They want to keep our health full. And I really appreciate them for that. Aha, Piranha Plant. Another 2-hit enemy, which goes berserk after getting hit once. Now, what we could do, since we cleared that one out, is another skip. This is a huge skip. However, it's not actually something we can do right now. It's a shortcut for if we die, because we have to go down here and get the key item. Otherwise, we can't actually finish the level, and woe be unto you if you miss it. If you go all the way to the boss and don't get it, you've got a long way to go back. And it's relatively well hidden. I remember my first time through, I had a hard time finding it. So break as few of these as possible so we can make the return trip. And our key item is an actual key. Handy. So, speed run our way back. And dig our way to freedom. Go freedom face. And I mentioned that Rick's torso punch with his face is actually called a punch by the game. Probably because they didn't update it from Magical Hat, I would think, where it actually is a punch. Now I want to see what those items are. Never hurts to be stocked up. I think we can sneak in here without waking up those tentacle fish. That's right, tentacle fish, not octopus. Or potentially jellyfish. I don't know what they're supposed to be. Come to think of it, probably jellyfish. No matter though. Those ones can also stay in a little cage. And the skull is just slightly higher than the block. So if you break enough blocks to get through, you can't shoot your skull through that little opening. It can lead to some unnecessary hits. I've actually discovered that the game is not nearly as difficult as it was my first time through. Because now I know how to use items and, like, use the flagpoles. I'm playing the game properly. That's a big thing about this whole game series, really, is that if you don't play it right, it's really difficult. Get back here, you little Chuck. So yeah, you can imagine I would be at very low health right now. I actually save scummed, like, a lot of this game my first time through. And as I mentioned on the Xbox 360 version, there are loading times between using save states. So it was tedious. I still managed to like it. This game is really charming and entertaining. I love the horror theme, so I muscled through it, but I'm enjoying it a lot more now. Gonna do a little thing, There we go. You can skip Chuck on the water. Serves no purpose. If anything, it slows him down unnecessarily, but it's adorable. Might as well just take that hit. Better than dealing with a frog. Fish. Why do I keep calling it a frog? Oh well, we're away from the water. No more water. Just a brain or a chunk of coral or something. With this creature inside, who buds off little umbrella guys. Seems to be like a sea sponge creature, but it's an amalgam of various underwater dwelling monstrosities. And it's a really obnoxious boss. I really hate this guy. I'm not gonna mince words. So I'm just gonna take this sort of slow. Still get hit way, way, way too much. But I got him into his black metal phase. We all go through it. If we survive. You know what, I'm gonna use an item that I should have used quite a few times by now. I call this the boss killer. And it missed the boss. Alright. Oh, I keep... Alright. He doesn't have any minions. We should be able to use the boss killer. And it didn't kill him, but it did a lot of damage, I'm sure. Okay. There we go. Relatively painless. At least I didn't die. There we go. Armington is done with. We can reap the rewards of a job well done. Let's see what we get. I'm also rather lucky so far with these bonus rounds, so that's keep me alive much more than my usual runs. That luck is probably going to dry up right now. Let's see... not quite. Not at all, in fact. Excellent. So we recovered another limb. Reminds me of another game I'm Let's Playing, but we're doing really well as we move into Pumpington. I guess if anything was going to follow Armington, it'd be this. But I'll see you next time for the heart of the game.